The second Ezra chapter 16. Starting at verse 35, and it reads, Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Because we all know, they say one of the most painful things you can deal with or ordeals you can go through is a woman giving birth. And it makes sense too, because think about it. It's another, you like they you know, their uterus and you know all that different stuff is a certain size, and they're gonna push something out that's bigger than so their body expands. I'm sure it's painful. I remember my demon, my first daughter, which was spiritual. She had a Elamite doctor, which the Elamites, they look down on us. They may have melanin, but they look down on us. And these same motherfuckers worship rats, but looking at you like you a nigga. Ain't that about a bitch? Anyhow, long story short, she told her, and now that I look back on it, she was really looking down on her then, like, you could go ahead and give a live birth. But I'm glad the Lord put the spirit on her to do that, because my daughter is a little bit different. I got 3 children with her. She never did that shit again, showing you how weak these Babylonian women are. So basically, when it's time to give birth, she was up there trying to get the motherfucking the epidural. But it's funny because the doctor was a woman, but the person that delivered the baby was under this woman. The scriptures, right? And anyhow, she's trying to like, no, I need that. I need it now. And he like, you can't get that now. Once you get to a certain point, just like with this, with the great wrath that's coming, we to a certain point ain't no turning it back. I see brothers in a renewed spirit because we all could feel through the spirit. This shit, listen, I don't give a fuck how many times they try to do trade deal. I don't give, like, literally, America is hated by the whole world. Revelation chapter 17. All it taking for the Lord to go ahead and shoot that over there and bump that way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this shit, it's just a matter of time. Yeah. But point being is, this is a parable or analogy to the times we're coming in Jacob's trouble. So, liken onto a woman's pregnancy, the closer we get to the end, the harder and more troubling and more painful everything's gonna get. Until, that baby brought forth, like a woman when she bring forth that child, then she's enjoyed. When we go through this, we get the kingdom. Like the elder said, you got, like, he named 4 prophecies off the back. What did he say? War, destruction, deliverance, and then the kingdom. But first you got to get that micro seed. It's got to be implemented. And if you can't see, like the elder said, everything, the elders bring out all these receipts, right? They'll show you either motherfucker. But no, some people just spiritually dead. And that's the thing I be tripping on. Like, people really don't get it, man. Like, I was talking to a Jake yesterday. This motherfucker looked at me like a weirdo the other day. Maybe that's just my spirit, a stumbling block. Like, I don't know. When I try to tell him, because we all stay on the same side, we all literally live around. Got to work around these fucking racist ass crackers. You know what I mean? So I tell him, like, he be looking out for me on the job because he been there a little longer. But then I don't know what the fuck he was on. But then he asked me, like, can I get a ride? I'm like, yeah, I ain't got no problem. I'm going that way. Why wouldn't I? But I'm breaking down. So, everybody is a not a connoisseur, but an authority and something they think they know. Motherfucker tell me, that's why the elders say what he say. Like, even vocab, the big bad wolf. Like, he said, shit, you drown him. You probably could drown him in a simple prophecy. What that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, because the whole thing is controlling the narrative. I'll give you a chance to speak. They not going to give us a chance to speak. They'll give certain groups a chance to speak. I don't even want to speak to him. Like the elder said, he said he ain't no Christians. Let me just rant and rave and cuss you motherfuckers out. You know, funny, last camp I did, I was up there cussing them Edomites out, and the Edomite walked past female, and she was like, hey, how you doing? And I almost cussed her ass out, but the spirit calmed me down. It's spiritual. Because I thought about the elders, like, scripture say, live peaceable with all men. I'm telling the truth. It doesn't matter how, if I'm yelling it or whatever the fuck, and it's the truth. But I ain't got to call her out her name or fuck you, devil, die, no. Bitch, you heard me when I was sitting up here telling you an Edomite if you, because she might not have been an Edomite. We don't know. You could try to estimate and guess, but, it's lucky I've been sipping a little bit. But long story short, we coming into times of a great pain. Verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack. The plagues is these different things. The Lord cutting off these different programs. The Lord causing the increase in violence and crime. Shit, the pestilences. All these different plagues that the Lord visiting the earth with to show you that, what's that, 2 Ezra chapter 9. The Lord visiting the earth which he made. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, because they're not going to stop. They're about to increase. And the world shall mourn. What's that, Ezekiel chapter 2? Book of Lamentations, mournings, and woe. Woe is destruction. It ain't no healing this motherfucking place. That's in Jeremiah. I would have healed you, but you don't deserve no healing. I'm grateful call Lord and lay out but Shemal shot. Because again, I don't think I did nothing stupid. I'm just venting, you know what I mean? Like for real. But it don't even matter. These motherfuckers they creating the case, but they gonna make up some shit on top of it. Only one it matters to is you better be moving and living a certain kind of way, because Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua and the Allahayim is seeing everything. And the Lord exposing shit right now. That's why I keep saying it's the book of Revelation, because think about it. Look, that dude Elazar, and I try not to speak on it because like I said, if I don't know you like that, I don't try, because I don't want to be slandered. Or nigga, if you don't know me, why you don't judge me, don't speak. Like, nigga, who scripture say, you know what I mean? I could point up a lot of shit, but I don't do that because, again, we all guilty of doing something that was off. But scripture says, seek out your own salvation. And this is how the way I'm seeking mine out. I'm a believer still. I trust in the Lord, not in men. You know what I mean? But I do follow certain men because I see the spirit on the men. And those are my elders, as well as other brothers. So, am I part of the body? It's a video on YouTube where he looked like an Edomite, but you could tell he like, they silly though. You could tell he cut from the same cloth because he up there. They jokesters. So the mother white or a so-called Edomite, and the father black or Jake, and then he like, he appeared more like Edomite. But he came to him, he like, Dad, he like pretty much, he like, so being that I don't look like a black man, but literally I'm your son, he like, if I painted my face black, would that be called blackface? And would it be racist? He was fucking with him. So the father fucked with him back. And then he was like, well, it's not my fault that you ran out of toner. You couldn't give me none of the melanin. You used it all. And then the father like, well, shit, maybe perhaps if we change positions. You know what I mean? So they was, again, it's just quick-witted type shit, That shit was, it was humorous. And, I still have a sense of humor. I mean, like, if Jake could tell you shit, I'm silly. I can be silly just as much as I'm not goofy. I'm silly. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference between goofy, like that dog, or the fucking Disney. That nigga was just, like, that's goofy. It's a nigga being too silly, playing too much and shit. Yeah, but I don't play too much no more. But I got a sense of humor. And my shit can get dark. The Lord got one too. We all made in his image. This shit about to get... The Lord said, I'm going to laugh at your calamity, man. Through people like me. Men like me. Shit, my kids might laugh at your ass. The Lord Dylan, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. So it's not going to get better. It's about to get worse. Verse 40, the point. Oh, my people, hear my word, make you ready to the... So like, oh, my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. and those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Chahagodash, double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. So, I want to say shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, to whom subscribe to this truth, to you. I say shalom. It's Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning He is, He exists, or He to be. By Hashem, by His in, Haz Hashem His name. Yahushai meaning He saves or He deliver. True names of the Most High God and His Son. We people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ, but whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. And this lesson is inspired by an article, which I need to find. This is out of Newsbreak, and it reads, Section 8 housing cuts, which is prophetic. That's why I said be as pilgrims on the earth, and the only people that's going to have a mindset, or only individuals, or only the believers are going to have a mindset like that. Majority of these Babylonians is going to be in the spirit of, what do I got to do? How do I get down? Like Boosie, bitch ass. I don't go call him no badass. And fuck that nigga. You know, they say that he got power, but he really don't got power. That's why he looking stupid, begging Trump. He probably suck a, I ain't gonna even say that, you know, but eat one. How about that? He probably eat like Kanye. He like to eat bananas. he like eating too many lollies. You know what I mean? Like, you weird at, cause yeah, man, and they put him in that position too. See, when the feds come though, you know, motherfucker be thinking they beat. He probably was proud as fuck when they dropped that KO. Yeah, not knowing that the feds coming, nigga. The feds got the jurisdictions, nigga. I take over this shit. Drop that. We got him, and you ain't getting up out of that without, you know. But these niggas that sold, they sold booty holes and elbows and all that shit. No Diddy. Diddy put some baby oil on your elbow. Hey, Diddy look, you know, and that's humbling though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we coming into. Diddy, you couldn't tell Diddy shit. They got that video of him beating the shit out of that girl. And then now he all gray head and just, that nigga scared. Whatever the Lord gonna do to you, because this is all gonna be the will. You know, I'm gonna speak on this and I'm gonna read the article. Judge Mathis, which all these motherfuckers, like the elder said, sold out. He said if he was presiding over the case, he would literally just give him 5 or 10 years. What? Man, fuck these niggas, man. A major part of the plan involves slashing federal housing assistance, particularly the Section 8 voucher program. I don't think they're going to do away with it completely. They probably call it a different name or something like that. And only you going to have to, like, be completely loyal to Trump to get this shit. This could disrupt housing for millions of low-income families. You know, I was reading, brother was talking about, he saw something talking about as far as earned income credit. If your child over a certain age, they was going to disqualify you. What I read was pretty much if you in a certain income bracket, you're not going to qualify. So what he's doing is he's throwing these Edomites a bone, the middle class, so he's changed the parameters. Earned income was for people that didn't have any money. Now they disqualifying you nigga women and all you Keishas and shit. Yeah, the Lord coming with judgment called Loyim. Laya, how about Shema Shah? And he giving it to these Edomites that was up there complaining to try to keep and prolong the system. But these people that literally got all these little trinkets and shit, 3 cars and, you know, the house in Pepper Pike worth $300,000, they barely affording anything. And that little couple $1,000s ain't gonna do shit. Everybody in debt. So they putting a band-aid on something that's still gonna happen regardless. The Lord just prolonging it. That's why the scriptures talk about long suffering. What the 2025 budget proposes. The proposed budget calls for a 43% reduction. God damn, that's almost half. So, call Loyim. Oh shit. Call Loyim like how about you? Just imagine the state of Babylon the Great if that happens. Nigga, you might not even be able to go to work. Nigga, just jump out your bushes. Give me that, nigga. The proposed budget calls for 43% reduction in federal housing assistance with a direct impact on the Section 8 program. Try through the fire, baby. Because now we going to see if you really believed what you said you believed when you was going out on these highways and hedges. See, the Lord about to reveal everything, what you really made of. And just because a person appear physically one way don't mean that he's spiritually that way. Scriptures talk about judgment and not judging another man, but you know, often I've seen Jake judge people. The only judgment I can say about a young Jake is you ain't experienced nothing yet. That's what I will say this. A lot of the younger brothers will listen to older brothers, but know why? They will listen to the older brothers that they wanted to listen to. The one that's gone ahead and tell you what's comforting to your spirit. You cussing out the so-called Edomite, but you can't get cussed out? I done get cussed out in the fucking truth. What you talking about? How you know the Lord wasn't cussing your ass out? The proposed budget called for, I had to read that 3 times, for a 43% reduction in federal housing assistance with a direct impact on the Section 8 program. And also a spiritual, I just did a video yesterday about how the housing about to change. And know who the first person that spoke on this? That guy, John Williams. Why you think I've always mentioned him? I ain't saying he no prophet. What I'm saying is the Lord using him to give me information to bring out. The plan was shift funding authority from the federal government to the states. So this going back to what they was talking about, how basically the government is downsizing and giving more authority to these companies, privatization. And therefore, you know, just like how you got these lobbyists and these companies already got the government in their pocket anyway. So if these companies want to bring forth the micro C-HIP, it don't even matter. Like you got legislation where you got these countries and governments talking about, oh, you're not going to be able to basically make the citizens take a micro C-HIP. But let shit get bad enough or they compromise enough, they're going to do it. Because you're going to have people in positions that don't want to lose their position and they're going to go. Like a lot of people were saying, like you got these different people like, what's his name? Robert F. Kennedy, the one that's supposed to be the head of the health, which I don't like him at all because you know that they did something to your peoples and you still work for the government. You was a demon, nigga. You a piece of shit. You a bitch. Fuck that nigga. But at the end of the day, the point is, you got Dr. Oz holding his loins like, yeah. I mean, these motherfuckers really show you who they is. But pretty much like they like, shit, unless you down with the get down, yeah, it. Says rather than the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD managing most vouchers, the proposed introduces a state rental assistance block grant. This program will allow individual states to control how housing aid is distributed. So they're going to still have funds, but now they're not going to deal with it. They're going to give it to the state. And, you know, again, when you get federal food stamps, like when I got audited, they talking about we need to see this, we need to see that. I say, why I got to send all this shit in when if I get federal if I get food stamps from the county, then y'all got access to each other's records. You should know I got to send them that shit. But you got to play this game, you know. You got to dot every I and cross every T. So at the end of the day, how much is you going to be willing to detach from the system? That's pretty much, well, I might read why it matters. Section 8 vouchers help over 2 million low-income households afford safe housing. Renters typically pay 30% of their income toward rent. They about to make it difficult for you to get this shit. Like I said, again, I had to renew my food stamps. I'm not even expecting to get that shit the next, because I think they do it like every 6 months. You got to go through the process of showing paperwork and shit like that. They asked me so many weird questions. I was about to say, man, fuck this shit. The Lord ended up giving it to me. Because they was talking about they still needed paperwork and yada, yada. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Then one day they sent me a letter like, yeah, we approved it. But I'm not banking on that. You can't even bank on if you got money on the card because they could just shut that shit off. You got to bank and trust in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua. Your confidence got to be in the Lord, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua. Why it matters, it says, these vouchers are often the only buffer preventing families from homelessness. Right. And not, like I said again, I don't know how exactly they're going to do it. I read some stuff. I probably didn't read it thoroughly enough, though. You know, like the elder said, this is called research. This truth is a job, man. And a lot of people be slacking on the job, but then want to tell you and dictate and want to try and rule over you though. The fuck? But that's okay though. Call Lord like how about Shemal Shah for this truth. Because at the end of the day, I learned mercy from this. For real. That's why I could just take that shit on the chin. You better pray the Lord got mercy though. So I'm about to go into some scriptures. Book of Philippians chapter 3. Because you get into it, you know, Paul was willing to count everything as nothing for the Lord. It's the book of Philippians chapter 3. I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at verse 1. The goal of life. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua to write the same things to you. To me, indeed, is not grievous, but for you it is safe. He said this ain't grievous. Let's read that in the NLT. Whatever happens, my dear brothers and sisters, rejoice in the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. Beautiful. Call Loyim Yahweh. It tells you in the call Loyim Yahweh. It tells you in the book of Romans chapter 8, all things work to the good according to the purpose of those that love him, roughly paraphrase. So the good, the bad, the ugly is all set up the will of the Lord to, you know, I remember reading with the one particular brother that I've been, you know, one particular brother, a knucklehead, that literally we were sitting up there, you know, when you go into the scriptures, Israel had more wicked kings than they had righteous. And that was all to get us to this point. Because we gonna follow our leaders, right? I never get tired of telling you these things, and I do it to safeguard your faith. He said it's not grievous. So, you know, if you pretty much finish, like if you tapping out, if you talking about like this is a burden doing his will and the work of the Heavenly Father, then you got to question, you better pray. I do know spirits do fuck with you. You know, you got spirits of doubt and shit like that. So you better pray. The Lord blessed me so recently because, you know, I'm going to be honest, like I said again, when you speak, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to follow through with anything. But at the same time, no, we had thoughts of, like, I remember the brother even said, they said all the elders had to deal with situations where you had to literally give temperance. That's what makes you different from, you know, these beasts, these Babylonians. We supposed to be able to literally control and rule over our spirit. Verse 2, beware of dogs. Watch out for those dogs, those people who do evil. These whole bitches a female dog. These Rottweilers, these pit bulls, these niggas of our people. It says, watch out for those dogs, those people who do evil, those mutilators who say you must be circumcised to be saved. For we are the circumcision. Which worship the Most High in the Spirit and rejoice in Mashiach Yahushua and have no confidence in the flesh. You know, because everything, you know, the scriptures talk about how being in the spirit of obedience, you know, spirituality overcomes carnality every day. That's how you're going to know who the true believers are. Now, the thing is this, the Lord controls all things, and it's written, prophesied, and all that it's going to be a time of actually like physicality. You know what I mean? Like things is going to physically take place. Everything that's about to happen is the will of the Lord. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, that's a spirit. I didn't even think about it. I thought I could have confidence in my own effort if anyone could. Indeed, if others have reason for confidence in their own efforts, I have even more. It says, though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more. You know, because he's basically going into what he has done for Yahweh Bashim Yahshua in his faith. Verse 5, circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel. So he's breaking down, he's an Israelite. You know, and when you go in the scriptures, I think it's the book of Acts, it breaks down Paul was, well, Yahushua too, but Paul was a Jake. They called him an Egyptian. At that time, you know, I don't believe Ptolemy and them was in the land. Not at all. That came after, right? Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of the Hebrews. He said, so when you put Hebrews on a level, he said he a Hebrew amongst them, the level of Hebrews. You know, Paul was a Pharisee. So he had authority. As touching the law, a Pharisee, that's a spirit, concerning zeal, you know, his passion, concerning zeal, persecuting the church. He persecuted the believers of Yahushua. And then show you literally, I think that's in Acts as well. It talks about how pretty much Ananias was told by Yahushua to go get Paul and heal him because he must suffer for his name's sake. To show his faith and his belief. So suffering is a rite of passage in this thing. And all those that tapped out, you know, again, this ain't an easy thing, but the scriptures talk about if you faint in the day of thy if you faint in the day of thy adversity, your strength is weak. The Lord put what's needed for you to overcome. I believe that. It just maybe, you know, the Lord also know your stumbling blocks. The Lord know everything. He know what's going to take you out. That's why certain things happen at certain times. You know, it's a particular Jake that literally all them years he had in the faith. And then, again, I don't know why that happened like that. I can assume. But I'm going to say this much. After all them years of faith and doing everything you did, going to jail for the truth, all these different things, going into churches, you just walk away. And then, you know, you could tell he bugged out because he came back on the thing like, I was once the leader of a cult. You know what I mean? Like, that's scary, man. To give this much of your life over to something and then not really fully believe. But I believe he believed. I just believe that them spirits got his ass. That's what I battle with a lot of. And I understand the importance of the brotherhood. You know, amongst a lot of brothers, that light is heavy. In a world full of darkness and it's just one light, you better make your candle shine. And I'm experiencing that now. And like Jake said, at the end of the day, if the Lord bug you out, good. But again, it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander too. Be careful what you say. You know, shit, the Lord got a way of revisiting shit for it. But ultimately, I hope all the Lord's elect make it, man. Like this place, it's going to be divisions. It's going to be a lot of different things. This is the most dramatic movie you're going to ever witness in real time. It says, concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. But, you know, he knew the whole law. He kept the law. But what things, and to show you how the Lord literally had him blinded, he keeping the law thinking he doing the righteous thing, but literally persecuting the real church. But what things were gained to me, those I counted lost for Mashiach. Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but lost for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach, my Lord. So if you really truly believe in this truth, you're going to say, fuck that Section 8. Because I ain't saying give it up. That'd be stupid. But the thing is, don't conform to this world to hold on to none of this shit. The Lord about to see you. Okay, you love me or do you love, you know what I mean? The Lord about to test us, man. The brother, I don't want to say his page channel name, but the lesson was like worded along the lines of, when offenses come, are you going to put down your garment? And it looked like he's a one-man cap. So, you know, that's a powerful spirit right there. But he was in the spirit of, man, I'm locked in. Fuck this shit. I hate my life. And I know a lot of brothers say that, but do you really believe that? Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but lost for the excellency of the knowledge of Mashiach Yahushua, my Lord, for whom I've suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Mashiach. And I want to go into that word done. So pretty much he said everything that he had, he counted as done. And when you go into the word done, it pretty much means shit. Meaning nothing, worthless. Refuse, which is rubbish, garbage, nothing.
Strong's G 4657, Scubalon.
And refuse as the excrement of animals. Shit. What happens when you You might step in some shit. I seen individuals step in shit and throw the shoes away. They ain't even think about cleaning them. Fuck them shoes. Paul's mindset was fuck what he got on this side to gain the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the truth. Offscoring rubbish dregs of things worthless and detestable. So, what this devil trying to get you to lightweight pretty much to entice you to hold on to this wicked ass world is pretty much nothing. This is the Section 8. Because think about it, like I said again, even if you got that shit to move around society, you're going to have some haves and you're going to have have-nots. And that's where crime come into play. This is the book of Acts chapter 14 and verse 22, and it reads, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. You know, the different trials and tribulations, the Lord is always dealing. So when you go through certain shit, you're supposed to learn something out of it. And I didn't get that when I first was going through my shit because really nobody was really, no elder brother was breaking down on damn Jake. No, they just, man. And I'm not even mad. I'm just saying, let's keep it 100 a buck. Maybe, you know, I feel that Jake was up there. Like, is he an Edomite? You think I'm an Edomite for real? The fuck? I hate Edomites. What's that? It'd be like the Dave Chappelle show, huh? And he say when he found out he was a Jake, he said he stopped fucking with his wife because he said she was a nigger lover. That was funny though. But the point being is, man, nah. I mean, the spirit recognizes the spirit, and if the spirit ain't recognize, you know, again, we gonna find out at the end. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I watching Jake that ain't got no fucking zeal though. You see the zeal and you see those that ain't got it. I ain't gonna put no name to nothing. And I believe the elders see too. The elder sharp as a motherfucking tick. You know what I'm talking about? He be on everything. Like, I would love to have that spirit at his age. Man, like, at my age, shit, I don't have that spirit right now. The elder said, I'm a juggernaut. I listen to the elder all day because they're my elders. I respect them. And everybody that considers himself an elder may not very well be one. Verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith that we must through much tribulation enter to, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. The word tribulation. No, I recognize authority because I could tell when the Lord is dealing with a man speaking through authority. I remember there was a particular elder. I didn't read the scripture in the proper context, and he said something, and it humbled me because I could feel the spirit of the Lord on him at that moment. You know, I remember one time we went out to the park. We did a lesson. Some fake ass pork chop eating Christian came up, and literally, I'll try to like show him something, and he cut me off. And my instinct was to say, man, you coming up on you trying to build on our foundation. But the spirit humbled me so much, I was quiet for him. What I didn't respect about this particular individual, he's recognized we was Israelites. He's an Israelite. He was a church going pork chop eating Christian, right? And literally, he was talking about how his wife was telling him that pretty much he got to make the pastor know that we the Israelites. And he was afraid. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, woman had more nuts than you did. The Lord will take a righteous woman from a wicked man. Oh, that's that word again, oppressing.
Strong's G 2347. Thlipsis.
Goes into pressing together, pressure, oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits. And we all being, built up. We being pressed and formed and conformed to the way that the Lord wants us to be, to prepare us for this great and evil coming day. You know, what they say, pressure busts pipes. A clam, something beautiful is built out of sand, out of pressure. So that's why a man of the Lord, after going through all these different trials and tribulations, will be as the finest gold of Ophir because of, the different trials and tribulations that Yahweh Shem Shah took him through. And ultimately, the elect gonna be like that. So I'm gonna end it with this. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. I think it's verse 60. No, it's 73. So at the end of the day, all those that pretty much walk this straight path, that continue in the faith, that don't, let loose of the plow, that don't turn back, that don't bug out, that wholeheartedly believe all the way to the very end, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. Then that's when you're going to know who the Lord was really dealing with. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 73, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 67. Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities. And you better start really repenting right now, because the days of mercy are fastly approaching to the point where the Lord about to close them. You have a grace period. It's a time. It wasn't forever. Just like the elder brought out about Revelation chapter 12. It was a time for the devil to take care of us. And then now he's taking away that care, because now that's how you know another way, or another indication of how you know we at the end. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall the Most High. If you're going to be a new creation, then yeah, the old man, the lies, the deceit, the scandalous ways, all that shit supposed to literally be put to the side. Hell no, I don't respect when you would tell a bitch whatever she want to hear, even an apology, but you can't apologize to your brother that you're supposed to love as much as you love yourself. To meddle no more with them forever, so shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. His elect he's going to deliver. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away you. This devil about to come down with that great wrath. Revelation chapter 12 and 12. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them, those that agree. Yeah, like I've been making this joke lately about you're going to have people believe in DJ Trump all the way into the internment camps. Especially Keisha. And they that consent unto them, and that's going to be her just deserts and her deservings and her reward. You said fuck the man of your nation. You said fuck the man that you laid with, your husband. So you're going to get what you deserve. Think I'm going to shed a tear over a fucking demon? Verse 69, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision. I ain't that corny. And in reproach and trodden underfoot. Like I heard Jake say one time, as hard as my life was, you ain't the only one had a hard life, Jake. We all have. But some have had harder ones than others. And that's why everybody take the Salaki. That's why some of those, I ain't gonna say weak bodies, but some of those pampered individuals, don't understand truly what they're involved in. If you sitting up there holding posts, we living in a time where motherfucker might jump out these Edomites and try and gun down the camp. You got Jake. I'm hearing Jake talking about some. You got men holding their pockets on post. Post is the point is you supposed to be circumcised. You supposed to be looking to see the dangers of like. I used to see Jake when I held posts. I make sure to be looking around. That's how I saw Vocab and his minions. Because we never saw Vocab. We saw motherfuckers that was with Vocab. And that's when I was like, oh, yeah, some weird shit going on. Because I'm like, these people watching us. But they never approached our camp. And brothers can tell you that. That was in the camp that I was in. That was the Lord watching the situation. Verse 7 it says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So, persecution is coming. And you can see these devils building their case. Vocab went from, last time you heard about Vocab, he was here. Now he ended up in London. Who bankrolling you, brother? Let me get a donation. Shit. What? I thought you Catholics like to literally like donate and help people. Like the elder said, Bishop Nate, can we get a donation? Shit. You know what I mean? What? Ain't it a law on that? Don't you supposed to help your brother? Vocab want to help us so much by shaving our soul by telling us this bullshit. But I wouldn't take nothing from vocab. I just look in that nigga's spirit and see the demon on him and say, may the Lord judge your ass. Cause I can, man, listen, that nigga a demon, man. And I don't believe he an Israelite at all. The Lord got the elder in the spirit of just trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. He a lot wiser than me, so, you know, I'm sure he's seen all kind of things. But through the spirit, I can't, that man ain't right, man. Like, that's a Edomite in the spirit all motherfucking day. He got too much of a zeal of hate towards us. All these different things that's going off according to the scriptures, and you only thing you can speak on is what you think we going off on. And then what he do is so simple, you can see it. He'll bring an argument and try to batter you with this and that, but the elders and everybody ask him questions and he just disregarded. You ain't hear it that day, huh? But then you want to have debate. And that's how y'all stupid motherfuckers is. You having a debate with a motherfucker that's going to answer what he want and not answer what he want. What's the point of it? So I see why the elders say what he say. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. You know, the elder brother from NC was going into that. You know, it's laws in the books where shit, they come in your house and confiscate what the fuck you got. Oh, it. Verse 73, the point. And all those that endure all this, it says, verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. But it tells you in the book of Sirach chapter 2 that acceptable men are basically tried in the fire and, you know, brought through the furnace of adversity. And guess what? They going to hold their integrity. They not going to put down their garment. When offense come, they're not going to put down their garment. They're going to hold true because they made an oath. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, Haitian, you better pray that you of the elect. You know, that's a prayer you can throw up. Pray that you of one of the Lord's elect. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushua, you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praises. I want to give all honor. I want to give all glory to call Allah Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem. Honors to the elders, to the apostles that taught me the truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat to listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad and on the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till the next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah, and Wath Lababal.